Hello, and welcome to episode 25 of Dick Moby, in which you, an idiot, watch me, a lunatic, read the great American novel of 1851, Herman Melville's Moby Dick, backwards, from end to beginning, chapter by chapter, from now until the end of time. So far I've reached episode 25, chapter 73, which isn't even halfway through the book. We're not halfway through the book in word count. We're not halfway through the book in sperm count, which is how we track our progress through the book. As you can see on the big board behind me, we have approximately 120 sperms located so far of 271 individual sperms that appear in the course of the book Moby Dick. I'm sure we'll find some more as we go along. We found 16 during the last episode, which was almost a new record, but not quite. Hopefully the audio on this episode will be okay. I've had to open the window because it's really hot. Not hot enough to warrant taking off my hat, but it's pretty warm. There's a thunderstorm going on outside. There's also, the neighbours have a new dog. Quite a yappy young Rottweiler, which is great. So there may be some background noise. But we'll press on. A thunderstorm may add to the atmosphere. You can imagine a stormy night at sea. If the wind blows past, the wind in the sails flapping as you stand silently in the crow's nest, listening to the yapping of a Rottweiler. Not sure how that comes into the story. We'll find out as we progress. I do think I remember some such story as you were telling, which is exactly where we were up to. Flask was explaining that he vaguely remembers something someone else said at some point. That is the extent of the excitement of Moby Dick that we're reduced to. Nothing's actually happening in Moby Dick at this point. We've reached the middle section of the book, which is merely a treatise on whales and whaling that goes on for chapter after chapter, forever and ever, as far as I can tell. But let's make some progress. I mean, this book isn't going to read itself. I wish it would. Alongside whale the get lets and ahead pull then well. Excuse me. There ready all you ain't. Sharp look but mouthful one in whale this eat I'll. Him with through got he before cholera Asiatic the John give didn't devil thee if flask lord the by and governor the says him take him used to want I mad getting devil the says yours of that is business what governor old the says for what John want I says and up hooves his switching devil the what's this about? I thought it was a whale, not the devil. Wanted he what devil that asked and home at was he? Well, home at was governor old, the if inquiring and gentleman-like and easy devilish about tail his switching. Once flagship old, the into sauntering, went he how as say they why? Ye tell I, one wicked and oh, excuse me. I'm not used to all this reading backwards. I had Friday off, didn't I? I didn't do this last Friday because I had a headache and I couldn't be bothered with it. Frankly, I wasn't feeling 100%. And reading backwards for an hour it doesn't do wonders for the old brains. I had a pain in the Gulliver, so I didn't travel. Ye tell I, one wicked and chap curious at his devil the butt flask. No, don't I? So maybe I'm out of the swing of it. Maybe it's going to take me, the rest of this chapter to really get into the swing, get into the pace of this whole thing. I'll get back into it though. I've got 24 hours of experience of this behind me, so I should know what I'm doing by now. What am I doing? That do for Dalla can how skylarking a you stub poo. It was about time we just said poo in this book. That's what we needed. Dick Moby, surrender heel then and sort that of something or soul his or watch silver his away swap to him get and him round come to trying is their devil the and whale white that after bent hard is man old the see ye do why what about bargain suppose I bargain at or swap at up striking for him with due to much so have man old the what's rigging thee of I the in see ye do down it coils he tail cursed his of because it's and doubt no rigging of coil at in nights of lay him seen I've but hammock any got hasn't he don't boots his in sleeps he boots his of toes the into stuff to oakum wanting always he's it of think I that now him blast guess I pocket his in away coiled it carries he sight of out up it tucks he because is tail his see don't you why reason the say I devil the he's board ship on away stowed been having this having his about story bull and cock that believe you do disguise in devil the B2 fidela that take I flask I will I hands both of motion peculiar are with see the into pointing flask there down look by one no and bullocks the by hard standing he and night dark out of chance I get I ever if but all at him at look never I him sink stub head snakes are into carved of sort is his of tusk that how notice ever you did stub chap that like half don't I last at good know to ship the charm he'll think sometimes I but charms ships about all know to seems he and so saying fidela out of ghost what ghost gambodge what gambog ghost gambodge that heard I but no don't I not why capsize afterwards never can ship that stub here never you did larboard the on whales right at time same the at and side starboard her on hoisted head whale sperm has once but which ship the that here never you did bow boats the in line spare some coiling flask said it with once right we saw a sperm there didn't we don't worry I didn't miss it I didn't miss the sperm it's right there let's draw him let's draw the sperm right now there we go there he is there he is on the sperm buffer I don't keep jumping up and down to draw sperms on the big board I draw them on the little board and then I transfer them individually one by one at the end and then I can wipe the sperm buffer clean ready for next time. It does mean that I'm having trouble keeping up with how many sperms there are on the big board because the big board is getting pretty full. We're not going to have space on the big board for all the sperms. We're going to have to come up with some kind of a chunking solution, like a tally of big sperms and little sperms that at least you can pack them more effectively on the big board in order to make room for some of the later sperm that we're going to come across, because we're not even halfway through the sperm count, and that's only one so far for this episode. 8 minutes in of really going like a steam train at this point backwards in this book, and we've only found one sperm. So there you go. That's the kind of rate we're looking at. That's why this is taking so long, is because there's so many sperm and they're so rarefied. The sperm density just isn't where we need it to be at this point. So anyway, I've drawn the sperm. we can continue with the episode as well. We might. Leviathan ignoble, so with due to having of thought that at discussed some without not, Stubb said. Lard fowl of lump, this with once man old the what wonder I. Then between ensued conversation some, towing for readiness in mass the getting ways other and in and. Flukes his to cords fast making in engaged were headsman to the while. Corpse aback his upon turned he, vomit and roll frightful with and thick grew spout his last at. Rock smitten the from poured that fountains bursting now the at did Israelites eager the as gash knew every at drinking thirstily. Oh dear. Oh dear, Herman. Come on, you know what you're writing here. You know what you're doing, Herman. Don't think me naive. Even in the 19th century, you knew that was a filthy thing to write down, and you smirked at yourself inappropriately. As we all know, drinking thirstily, spilled was that blood fresh that who rushed. Body whale's sperm, I'll draw it after the paragraph. The round swum before had that sharks of multitudes the while. Went battle the Pequod, the round and round thus and. Lance for lance with flask answered stub. Sides both on him flanking close till. Lines there upon more and more hold they meantime. I think we're actually getting some... I was going to say getting some action, but I mean this is an actual action sequence in Moby Dick. It's remarkable. It's the first thing that's actually happened for the last 6 episodes, I would say. Ever since they met the... What was his name? I've forgotten his name now. The captain. His name was like... Gay Gordon or something. What was his name? I can't remember. They met some other ship anyway. That was the last thing that happened. That was ages ago. I can't even remember what it was about. It might as well be a different book. Anyway, so it seems like something's going on with a whale. Circuit complete, performed they that so. Him after boats to the towing ship that of stern the round went. Course his altering blindly and speed his abated whale fagged the butt. Fly to free were boats the more once and sight to rose also beyond whale the while. Water that on glass broken of bits like fell drops the that. Drippings its off flinging so and quivering and snapping bows her under view to rose suddenly ship the beneath scraping line strained that as keel the along lightning like running felt was tremor swift instantly when I'm trying to make this all exciting. I'm trying to read it faster in a bit of a kind of punchy commentary. It is tedious, especially without any context of going backwards. But at least we can pretend that we're getting something from this. We can pretend that it's entertainment. I know it isn't entertainment, but we can pretend. It gained did they till it to stuck they and. I would imagine you're getting a lot of entertainment now because the non-essential shopping is back open, isn't it? At least in the UK. I don't know if anybody watches this from elsewhere. Nantucket maybe. I guess there's a whole load of Nantucketers who are fascinated by this. But here in the UK they open non-essential shopping. So you can go out and, I don't know, queue for an hour to go and buy some jogging pants. There's jogging pants that you've been desperate to buy for the last 13 weeks. The jogging pants you barely survived without. The jogging pants that are going to change your life for the better, make all of lockdown worthwhile. You can go and queue for an hour and spit on each other and probably impregnate each other in the queue through boredom alone. You can go and do that standing outside Primark in Birmingham city centre. Well done, everyone. We were bored, so, the pandemic's over. Anyway, if like me, you're diligently staying indoors still and keeping your family indoors, but indoors, this may be the entertainment you need. This might be what's keeping you going through these difficult times. I'm aware that I can't stop this. I'd like to stop doing this, but I can't stop doing it because I have an obligation, not to my own well-being, but certainly to your mental health. I'm aware that things would fall apart, nationally, at a national level. This is an important government national health, mental health program that we're undertaking here, which hopefully, will keep a significant fraction of you out of hobbycraft. Gain to sort they advanced feet few at only was it but under them take to threaten strain contending the another in oars their plied still and direction one in line tightened the outslacked still they while for critical intensely was struggle the minutes fewer for ship that of ahead get to as so might their all with pulled time same they at and Rope of abundance outpaid they, rapidly very sounding not whale that and. Tubs that in yet line of plenty having but. Side vessels the against dash deadly are with brought being sidetrack myself there. Deadly are with brought being of point the unseamed. Instant 1-4, which boats the to ship the from cry the was cut. Keel the under diving if as view from disappeared wholly he planks the of rods 3 within maelstrom in down going suddenly but malice it meant he if as seemed it first at that hull the to come monster the did close so whale towing the by ship the towards right dragged being of act the in sight plain in were boats the and past interval an fast be must boats the both or one that aloft from came news after soon and I don't know why I correct myself as if it matters. Water white tumultuous of heap great as saw they distance the in suddenly but masthead the at men the to invisible almost became last at they. Away further and further pulling, pursuit in detached were, flasks and stubs, boats to and, leeward to seen were spouts tall, wanting long this was gnaw. There you go, I think that's the end of the action now for the next 6 or 7 episodes. Offered opportunity if, day that captured be should whale right, that made was announcement the, all of surprise the two, beheaded and alongside brought been had whale sperm, that now yet. Boat are lowering without crosets, the near them of numbers past had she though and, all at them for crews to commissioned not was Pequod the though and. Creatures inferior, those of capture the disdained commonly hands all though and, near anywhere, lurking time particular, this at be to supposed few, but that Leviathan the of species are, whales right of vicinity the of tokens unusual gave, Brit yellow of patches occasional but its by, which sea into drifted gradually had Pequod the forenoon and night past the during now. And a sperm to draw. Awesome. That's 3 thus far, shooter. Little Happy Gilmore quote there, just to lighten the mood. Hold May tackles. I used to like Happy Gilmore. I used to like it a lot. I used to watch it maybe 2-3 times a month on the regular. Quite liked. I like a golfing video game, and I quite like a golfing comedy as well, especially a good golfing comedy there with the Adam Sandler in it. Big fan of the old Happy Gilmore. I like it when he hits the ball really hard. It's very funny because my dad can't play golf very well. He can't hit the ball that hard, so it's funny to see, you know, Adam Sandler, he dressed as a hockey man who can't play golf, and he's better than my dad. He's better than everybody else in the film, but he's better than my dad's not in the film, but he used to play golf. Embarrassing compared to Happy Gilmore. You've been playing for 30 years and you can't hit it. You need a better stick, don't you? You need the hockey stick instead of the special bat for doing it. Anyway, I watched it again like last year or something. It was shit. It's terrible. Really bad. It wasn't funny at all. Even the black guy with the wooden hand wasn't. I know there's nothing inherently funny about a black guy with a wooden hand. Don't worry, I'm not. There's nothing. I don't want to get into that. I'm a great supporter. You know, all the Black Lives Matter stuff. We raised £8 million this week. $8 million. That probably is £8 million with the economy as it is. But he's supposed to be a figure of fun, isn't he? He's got the wooden hand. He loses it. He gets bitten off by a whale. Is it a whale? No, it's the other one. An alligator. And then it gets smashed under the truck, doesn't it? It's funny. It used to be funny. It's not funny anymore. Not really. It's not as funny as like some of his later comedies. Uncut Gems, that was hilarious. Some of the the jokes in that are great. Surprised when Ben Stiller wasn't in it. Maybe he was in it briefly. I don't know. I wouldn't. Excuse me. I got a persistent cough this week. I've had a persistent cough for 13 weeks now. It's getting on my nerves. Anyway, I drew the sperm. I nearly finished the chapter and then I got sidetracked. I might just cut all this coughing out of this episode later, actually. I know it's very annoying. It's even annoying me. But I can't stop it. I've got a frog in my throat. Damn alligator popped up, got in my throat. Hold May tackles the heaven pray to is. Head the fore now do can we best the and. Press matters other present the fore. It to attend to chance get can we till while there hanging continue it let must we but. Side pequods the to hanging head prodigious whale sperm. Have we time this all that mind in born be must it. Him over talk have then and whale right a kill flask and stub. 73 chapter. Oh, awesome. Finished at last. And one more sperm just to round off the chapter. There it is. There it is. 4 sperms already. Pretty good. 4 sperms in 20 minutes. Not on for a record at this point, but, you know, not bad. I wasn't kidding. We did raise $8 million. If you didn't know, we would. I say we. I take very little credit for this. I contributed my video game that I made called Thrunt, which is a super tricky time attack thrust 'em up. If you remember games like Thrust and Asteroids and those kind of games back in the day, it's kind of like a time trial racing game with obstacles and lasers and things. With those kind of that style of control. It's pretty good. It's so good I'm making a sequel. Which you can wishlist on Steam if you want to. Go and look for it. Search for Thrunt on Steam, you'll find it. But the original Thrunt, which came out in 2016 or something, is only available on itch, costs £3. But for the past 2 weeks, it's been available in a big bundle called the Bundle for Racial Justice and Equality, supporting Black Lives Matter related charities, bail fund, and those kind of things. I think there were 2 charities that were supported equally between them. But obviously there are much more well-known games in that package than mine. Also, significantly less well-known ones. But there's well over 1,000 games in the bundle. So if you missed it, hard luck, because it's stopped now. You can't get it anymore. But we raised $8,170,000 something dollars, split equally between the 2 charities, which is bonkers, absolute bonkers amount of money. And I know people didn't buy the bundle to get my game, but if they play the game and enjoy it, and it adds to their, the value they get from the bundle, and then that's great. But there's some fantastic names in there for some fantastic big games. So definitely been incredible to be part of that. Very proud of what we did, even though I didn't really do anything beyond say, yes, you can include my game. Unfortunately, the sales have dried up now. Now that the money isn't going to charity, nobody's buying £8 million worth of my game this week. That was last week. In fact, this week, people, if anything, buying even less of it, because they've all already got it, because they all bought that bundle. But that's fine. That's fine. We can't all make millions from the games. We can't all be Valve and be rolling in money. Obviously, they wouldn't want to give any of that money away to important, social issue charities. That's their money, isn't it? That's all their money. The money they make. People like Activision and people like that, they make their own money. It's got nothing to do with us, has it? But we made £8 million dollars. I keep saying pounds. I don't know what the exchange rate is. It might be more than that. It might be less. I've no idea. We're not even allowed to get past the end of the street, so I don't need to know what the exchange rate is between dollars for pounds, or vice versa. Anyway, that's enough about America. Let's continue reading the great American novel. Or unreading it, as I should say, because it's fucking awful, and I'm trying to evacuate it from my brain by reading it backwards. This is going to leave me dumber than when I started, and I hope it will leave you dumber too. Is this a long chapter? Is this going to be painful like the last one? Oh, it's pretty long. Well, we better get on with it then. Anyway, even the length of even the title of that chapter was too long. Let's continue. Waves that to given freely was that, and gift charities aren't was second the. Queequeg to handed was, and spirit strong contained first the. Other the in tea caddy of sort and hand one in flask dark. This is getting confusing. Are they talking about Flask the character now, or has Flask the character always been a kind of tea caddy full of strong spirits? Maybe that's what I've misunderstood all along. I thought Flask was a character, but he's a literal flask. And I guess Queequeg here, in his confusion, in his confused state after being at sea with the likes of Ahab for so long, Shed's gone, hasn't it? He's lost it. He's lost the plot, and he's started to imagine that his half-empty tea caddy full of strong spirits has a personality all of its own. He's even started capitalising his name from this point on. Now that we see the truth, it's literally a flask that is dark. Howith came he, reappeared stub when. Thyself wantest thou what get and him with down go this only. Sir, saying about you what were what? Weasel a fellows this and sort that of something or whale a hit I when accept. Hit I when hurt never I owe. But again him hit don't only, Starbuck replied. Enough. Whale on harpooneer the forgrog. Orders captains the is it. Starbuck mister. Wrong no do I hope I. Better something get and. Lockers the to ye with a long run and. That take. Rascal gingerly you. Ginger jump. If only insults today were so civilized. Ginger job. It's called she so. I shouldn't speak. I mean, my ginger face. I'm a ginger job if ever you've seen one. In that beard there, although it's going a bit grey. I'm getting a few white ones in there. A few white hairs. My kids don't believe it. Daddy's not going to get old. But yep, Daddy's getting old. Daddy's going white hairs. Daddy's going to be Father Christmas by Christmas. It called she so, ginger jub this only but, spirits any harpooneers the give never me bade and, board on ginger the brought that charity aunt was it? Doughboy cried. I'd forgotten that one of them was Doughboy. Doughboy cried, me not was it? What is the... Is Doughboy just a very occasional character? Is there actually a character on board called Doughboy who's only made 2 appearances in this so far? Ye do proceeds the pocket and all, or maybe it's proceeds the pocket and. I guess pocket the proceeds, isn't it? Yes. Ye do proceeds the pocket and all us murder to want and lives our on insurances out. God have you. Ye do. He's got to check the clauses. If you go back to episode, I think it was episode 3 or 4, maybe episode 5. There was a section which went into the insurance documents at some length, the terms under which the Pequod is insured. Lloyd's of London covered them for something like 400,000 tons of beef, way more beef than they could fit on the boat. But now it sounds like the whole thing is an insurance scam. They're going to pretend to murder each other. And claim the proceeds and pocket the proceeds. Proceeds the pocket. Ye do us poison to want you. Here medicine apothecaries you're of none. Harpooneer a drug to teach you teach wheel. Stubb cried. Steward, aye. Enough stuff poor is it? Starbuck said. Not trust I. Man half drowned into life the back blows he which by bitters of sort that is this whether ask I may and sir apothecary and steward that is wail the off instant this there Queequeg to Jalap and Calamel that offer to face the had Starbuck Mr. Steward the. I don't know what these things are. Are they cocktails like a mint jalap? I quite like a mint jalap. Steward the. Added he, countenance mates the watching then. Please you if, it of smell, Sir, cannakin that at look you will. Forward from come just had who. Starbuck approaching now, added suddenly he. Business this about movement society temperance, sneaking some is there. Here, Queequeg, pour hour to cup, this offer you that, say I, ginger is devil the what? Gunpowder, tinder, matches Lucifer, firewood, sea coal, ginger is devil the what? Ginger! Cannibal shivering this in fire a kindle too, doughboy, use you fuel of sort the ginger is. Ginger! Ginger of virtue the lies where, doughboy mister? Me tell to goodness the have you will and. Ginger? Ginger? I'm starting to wonder if ginger's really a word. Saying slowly, steward astonished the towards walked calmly he, while afore incredulous if as standing then, cup untasted yet as the interpeering. Ginger be must this, yes. Near coming Stubb asked suspiciously, ginger smell I do? Ginger? Water and ginger. I was shut up about ginger, for God's sake. Water and ginger, tepid of cup, a him hands. Gods ye, quite. Him hands, no, cognac some hot. What? Him hands glance consolatory, benevolent, with hand. Advance his steward there, side the over-trembling involuntarily, and dripping all stands and chains the up climbs last at savage exhausted, the eyes bloodshot and lips blue with as. I'm going blue in the lips. Full stop, please, any time now with as. Now for. Queequeg, you for store in cheer, good is there. Courage but. Lad poor, peril and pickle, sad in are you, spades and sharks between what and? Friends your, spades those. Foes your, sharks those. Life is in gasp, you ocean unsounded that. I think he's become a melancholy drunk. World wailing this in men, us of all and each of image precious the not you are. All after it matters what. See that of swell every to rope that off slacked then, and in drew I as. I thought, twin brother and comrade, dear my, well, well. God's his of hands the into life his upgave and, Yojo his to braid only. Yojo? I'm guessing that's one of Queequeg's family gods or something. I don't know. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing that and it's a real thing. I don't know what it is. I'm sure it is a real thing, but I mean, I don't mean to be prejudicial against Queequeg and his gods. I just don't know what they are. Suppose I, Queequeg poor, hook iron great that with their gasping and straining. Suppose I, Queequeg poor but, tail athan leg amputating, nearer come would theirs of spades indiscreet those, water blood muddled the by hidden half times at worst shark. I think we've reached the hold my beer stage of the party. Times that were sharks, and he both that circumstance the from and. Him befriend to zeal hasty therein, but, admit I, happiness best Queequeg's meant they. Them of benevolent and disinterested very was, sure be too, theirs of procedure this. Reach could they as sharks, many as slaughtered they wherewith. Whale spades, keen of couple ahead, his over-flourished continually, Dagu and Tashtego. Stages the of one inside the over suspended. Protection another still with provided was he. Shark ferocious peculiarly as seemed what of more the to vicinity close to from fellow poor the jerked then and now I which with monkey rope the besides accordingly. Them to sharp look to wise but deemed is it. Pie the in finger ravenous, as such have they since that believed, be well may it, nevertheless. Man a touch seldom will shark carnivorous miscellaneously, otherwise the whale dead, as prey such by attracted that not it were incredible altogether thing Feet floundering, his with a side them pushed, often who, Queequeg was sharks, those among in right and. Beehive, in bees like it round swarmed creatures rabid, the carcass the from flow to began, which blood pent before the by allured keenly more and freshly now sharks the night the during them upon made massacre the by unappalled. Too exposed was he jeopardy jamming, the only the knot was this but, both of swaying and rolling incessant the from, fall occasionally would he wear, ship the and whale the between from Queequeg, poor jerk, often would I that hinted have I. Hold a monkey rope his vigilance and faithfulness, the for guarantee possible strongest the harpooner imperilled the afford to order in. Stub than man, a less no by introduced was usage original the upon improvement this. Together, oh, we've fucked it. Oh, it's all right. No, it's okay. Saved by the asterisk. For a second there, I panicked. Seeing this asterisk, I was dreading this. I mean, this happens quite often, but whenever there's an asterisk, obviously we're reading a footnote, but we only realise we're reading a footnote when we've already read the footnote. And then there's a moment of mild panic when I start to think, well, where's this a footnote from? It could be anywhere. But as luck would have it, Herman has a habit of continuing his prose just in situ. So there is no, although it's a footnote, it's literally a footnote to the thing that he's just said. So there's no need to break and look elsewhere. This is more often than not, the footnote is exactly continuing on from the thing where the footnote is spawned from. We have had to manage more complex cases in the past, but it appears that we are going to get away with this. I thought for a second that I had read an entire paragraph that I should have read out of order, but I didn't. This is fine. It's all fine. Together tied ever were holder his and monkey, that Pequod that in only was it but whalers all in found his monkey rope the. And then that is a footnote from here. Ridiculous as it sounds. It of end one of management that had only I. Would I what do? That forget possibly I could nor. Overboard sliding near very came I that. So it jerked he sometimes. Would I as heedfully monkey rope Queequeg's handle put. Life of chances evil, other multitudinous, and these escape possibly may you. Caution exceeding by, that say may you. True. Die you. Pills your in poison you sends mistake by apothecary your if. Snap you, breaks banker your if. Mortals other of plurality, with connection Siamese this has. Other or way one, he cases most in, only. Breathes that mortal every of situation precise the mine, the was mine, precise the was mine of situation this that saw I, say I, pondering further still. Him jam to threaten would, which ship and whale the between from then and now him jerked I while, pondering further still yet and. Injustice and gross so have could never equity even handed, it's for. Providence in interregnum of sort, was here that saw I, therefore. Death and disaster unmerited into me innocent plunge might misfortune or mistake another's that and. Wound mortal I received, had will free my that. Two of company, scroll up a bit, two of company stock joint in merged now was individuality, own my that perceived to distinctly seem I. Motions his watching earnestly while that, then situation my of conceive I did metaphysically and strongly so. Entailed bond hempen, the which liabilities dangerous, the of rid get way any I could nor. Brother twin inseparable own my was Queequeg. Us united ligature Siamese elongated and then so. Wake his in down me drag, should it, cord the cutting of instead that, demanded honour and usage both then. More no rise to sink Queequeg, poor should and, wedded were, time the for two we, worse for or better for, that so. One leather narrow, my to fast and, belt canvas broad Queequeg's to fast. Ends both at fast was monkey rope that said be must it, Further proceed we before, for us of both for business perilous humorously, how was it? Well, yes, hilarious, I'm sure. 20 minutes left of this. This is flying in tonight. I know it's not been particularly entertaining, as if it ever is, because of the lack of entertaining things going on, both in the book and in life in general. But, you know, at least we're making progress. At least, oh, there's the end of the chapter. We're gonna nail it after this hilarious, humorously perilous business that we just progressed through. That had me in my sides. I'm gonna have to stop and sew my sides up because so humorous was it. I don't know. Melville does probably come across as the kind of writer who would point to a joke and say, that is a joke, please laugh. Waste his round belted canvas. That reminds me of a show when I went on holiday. You remember holidays when you were allowed to do that? When I was a kid, I went on holiday on a skiing holiday. I would guess it was a skiing holiday in Austria. And we had a television in the self-catering, whatever it was, lodge thing, chalet, whatever, where we were staying. Not a fancy log chalet thing, just like a couple of rooms in a hotel. Nothing extravagant. But we did have a TV, so some creature comforts there. And on the TV one night, we were watching. There was a program. The only way I can describe it is kind of a German language, Austrian version of You've Been Framed. You know, the clip show, the slapstick public clip show, and this was on in Germany, and in Austria rather, in German, and as I remember it, the show was called Bitte Lachen, which I believe is German for please laugh. I think it's literally please laugh in German. If I was pitching something that was supposed to be funny to ITV, I'd like to think I could do better than please laugh as a title. I mean, You've Been Framed is what's the German translation of You've Been Framed? You. I mean, it's the plural you. So what would it be? But it'd be air. You've been, but it's past tense. I haven't learned how to do past tense yet. I'm only up to in the present tense. So we're going to have instead of You've Been Framed, we're going to have You Are Being Framed. Which adds a much more suspicious air to the program. Imagine Harry Hill going, You Are Being Framed. That is a show I would watch. I'm a big fan of You've Been Framed anyway. It's the sort of thing, as stupid as it sounds, right? I won't go past it. If I'm flicking through the channels and I get as far as You've Been Framed, that's where I stick. That's guaranteed. I'll spend 5 or 10 minutes until the ad break, obviously. So it's ITV, so probably about 3.5 minutes, maybe 4. I'll watch it. Because I'm such a huge fan. I'm a Harry Hill fan. I like Harry Hill since he took over. But I've always been a fan of idiots hurting themselves on television. Love it. Not celebrities or anything, just normal people, idiots. Standing on a plank. My favourite is the one where they stand on a plank in between two ends, and they chainsaw through the plank that they're stood on, and the plank falls, and then they fall. And they land on the chainsaw and their legs off. That's the best one that I ever saw. Really funny. So You Are Being Framed in German. What's framed in German? I don't even know what framed is. I don't know where I'm going with this because I don't know what framed is in German. That's probably quite a complicated verb, isn't it? To frame someone. To be framed. To be the subject of a framing. I've absolutely no idea what tense or what the verb is. So I'm sorry, I've run aground there, and I'm not going to bow to the obvious make up a German sounding word. This isn't Fawlty Towers. It's nothing like as entertaining as Fawlty Towers. But I don't want to get this removed from the internet for being the racist. I don't want to be the only racist on the internet and have this removed. Let's continue to finish this chapter at least. We have a quarter of an hour left. Waist his round-belted canvas of strip strong atu attached. Monkey rope, a fishery that in called technically is what by. See that in there down Queequeg hold I did, side steep ships the from so just. Cord long by dancing ape, holding organ boys Italian scene have you. Oh, sorry, I haven't seen that. Back Wales dead thee upon scramble hard scrabble, that taking while him upon attend to duty cheerful, my was it. Forward from 1 second there. Boat his in bow oar, the pulled who person there is that, bowsman savages the being. Or bowsman? Bowsman? I don't know if this savage is all of a sudden. Seen be presently will as him observe to chance better had one no and advantage uncommon to appeared he least at eyes my to which in socks and shirt costume highland that in figured Queequeg question in occasion that on him beneath treadmill alike revolves mass vast that as water that in half and whale that on half about flounders harpooneer porther deck the of level the below feet 10 some there down so upon operated parts immediate the accepting submerged entirely almost lies observed it be whale the concluded is operations stripping of or flensing hold the till whale the on remain shall harpooneer the that require circumstances cases many vary in but to referred purpose special the for back monsters the upon descend to harpooneer as was it duty whose Queequeg friend particular my by there inserted was it hole that in fixed get hooks same that as mass are weighty and clumsy so did how but mates the of spades the by cut their whole original the into inserted was blubber hook the back whales that in groundbreaking first upon that mentioned was it little our way our retrace now must we. Oh, please don't retrace our way a bit. Come on, we're trying to retrace the whole thing. Seen thee of description the endeavours who him with same the much is it everywhere done be to has everything time same the and one at 4 place one any in staying no is there wanted our hands again then and here wanted our hands now crew the among forwards and backwards running much is there whale to attending and cutting in of business tumultuous the in monkey rope the 72 chapter. Yay, another one done. No sperms though, were there? Did you see any sperms? I didn't see any sperms. Maybe I'll control F it and see if there's any sperms. Control F is the internationally known symbol for find, isn't it? Control F to look in a document. So that's how I know how many sperms are in this book. I didn't go through and find them all in advance myself. I would have done. I mean, if I didn't have a digital copy of this, I would have done it in my paper copy. Although I don't have a paper copy of this because the paper copy that I originally read, I've lost. Maybe I threw it in the canal in a fit of pique after having read it the first time. So shit was it. Anyway, if you do want to read this and follow along, you can go to, I know the book is called Moby Dick, but the original title was gutenberg.org/2701/2701-h/2701-h.htm #link2h_epil. So you can go to that address directly. I think that is the address of the Melville estate, who I am hoping will never get wind of what I've done to their wonderful, wonderful great American novel. We have 10 minutes left. If this chapter is only a page and a half long, I will read it now. Nope. No. Christ on a bike. I'm not sure I'll be even reading that in one episode next time. That's a hell of a chapter. I say that for every chapter. I'm sure all the chapters are roughly of average length. There was one very short chapter at one point. There was one chapter that was only one paragraph that we've come across so far. The rest of them have been approximately the same length as that one. So, shall we make some progress now? Do I want to do that? 10 to 11. getting late. I'm getting tired and sick of it after 25 hours of this nonsense. And I still haven't been on the front page of the BBC despite raising $8 million. I know not for this and not single-handedly, but still, tangentially related in that I am the same person and I am one of approximately 1,000 people who contributed in some small way to raising that money. Incidentally, if you do want to raise money for another good cause, I don't mean to pester you for things. I don't mean to come across as being needy, because I'm not needy. I don't need you to give me anything. But there is an address on the screen that way, down there somewhere, for the nvm.org. That is the National Video Game Museum, which is officially what I'm raising money for by doing this. I'm not really raising money, but if you want to give me something money, if you think this is worth anything at all, give it to them. Go to their address and help them stay afloat during this whole lockdown period, because the government won't. There's probably, they probably get some arts grants or something. I don't know how it works in that sector, whatever. But I know they've been trying to raise money because they're struggling. So it would be great if you could do that. If you like video games, if you like museums, that's a pretty simple Venn diagram that they are smack in the middle of. If you like whales, not the country, sperm whales. If you like ships, if you like harpoons, if you like hundreds of thousands of tons of beef, maybe it was kilograms of beef. Kilograms would make more sense, wouldn't it? Maybe I'm overestimating how much beef was involved. If you like beef, don't give me beef. Give beef to the National Video Game Museum so that they can trade it in for money. You could just give them money directly. You don't need to speculate on the beef market in order to support a good cause. Just give them your money straight away. Just give it straight to them. That would really help. And also, if you're vegan or vegetarian or whatever, if you just like cows. I like cows. Then don't slaughter a cow just in order to make a donation. Don't feel that there's any obligation to murder an animal. Just give the equivalent. Give the weight of the cow in 10p's to the National Video Game Museum. Do that. If you want to give me anything, what you could do is you could give me a like or a subscribe thing, whatever. Click some of the buttons that are around the window in which I am currently appearing. The outer window, not the small one that has my face next to the text. The text. I forget how everything's reversed. The thing is, the text's there in front of me, as it is in front of you, but it's to the side of me on the screen, isn't it? That's the way it works, and I think it's that side. It's very hard to work out. I'm not well accustomed to this whole streaming thing on the internet. Because I just read crap backwards for your entertainment. Not that it's entertaining. I'm going to read 2 paragraphs and then we'll wrap this up. I'm going to read 2 paragraphs. Can I even be bothered doing that? 5 minutes? Maybe I should just stop. Am I allowed to stop? I feel like I'm shortchanging you. I feel like if you're going to give a cow's worth of money to a good cause, I should really fill the next 7 minutes with some kind of bunk. I don't know. I've been trying to remind myself about how physics works, because I did physics at university. I got the big book out. Oh, it's a big book. I got the big book out, the Young and Friedman, which is the physics for beginners but university level physics book. So I've been trying to relearn physics. Just thought I might do that to pass the time a little bit. Because obviously you've got so much time and nothing to do, really. Especially when you're skiving off, as much as you can from all your obligations in life, then you get left with loads of time. I'm not really skiving off, but I kind of enjoy doing some of those questions. Yeah. I made arrangements with work to spend more time with my kids, teaching them things, which is an arrangement that Well, we'll see how long that lasts. I'm not sure. I'm not sure that it will prove to be productive long term. We'll see. So far, they've been quite engaged with it. So far, we've covered. They learned how to play a tune on the piano. Not that we have a piano. We have a tiny keyboard, a little Casio tone, dinky keys keyboard. But here we are. I'm sure you can immediately tell that is Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, the first two lines of Twinkle Twinkle there. But they've never been able to read music or anything before, so we did that for a bit. We've been doing drawing cartoons with Rob Biddulph, also on YouTube. You should check him out. He's cool. Rob Biddulph. He does these videos where he shows you how to draw cartoon characters. He's an illustrator, children's book illustrator and writer, and he goes through line by line how to draw the characters in his books. And we've done a couple of those with varying degrees of success. In that I drew impeccable pictures of cartoon bears and stegosauruses, and my children actually they did pretty well. To be fair to them, they were recognisably, the lines are all in the right place. But it's an excellent little series. The videos are only 10 minutes long. I recommend that especially if you've got kids, but even if you just want to draw a cartoon child stegosaurus, then you should watch it. Episode 1. Gregosaurus, the character is called, because his name's Greg, and he's a stegosaurus. Now, I don't think that's how it really works. I don't think that the surname of the dinosaur is Asaurus, and generally they are stegs, but he is a Greg. I'm not sure that's how the naming system works for dinosaurs, but it's hard to follow. I mean, they're all different. They're all called different things. They all have different names. My favourite dinosaur isn't even a dinosaur, it's a Mozchops. I love the Mozchops. I love how miserable they look. I love how they're not even real dinosaurs. They're pre-dinosaurs. They're so old. They existed before the dinosaurs really muscled in on the act. And they were just kind of like miserable looking, shambling mammals of the time. Oh, were they? I think they were. No, they weren't mammals. But they were like the size of a depressed pig, and about as attractive. Mozchops. There used to be a show called Alien Mozchops, didn't there, when we were kids? Cartoon. Mozchops is cool. I like Mozchops. So that's something we did. And then we did the Kings of England and Great Britain, UK, whatever, throughout history. I was trying to explain to my kids how long history was, because they've got absolutely no concept whatsoever. They think that history was when I was a kid, and that's it. So I wrote a big list of all the kings and queens, the monarchs that we've ever had, from Alfred the Great when it was first kind of unified into England at all, through to the Union and beyond, and right up to the present day. And just try and show them how far back history goes. And then we picked a few funny names out of them and talked about what might have happened. The early Wessex kings, we got as far as Sweyn Forkbeard coming over from Denmark and invading and taking over. Quite an amusing image, because I don't know if you know your history very well. I didn't know this, I'll admit that I didn't know. But Sweyn Forkbeard, now he's noticeable in that he has a different name from the rest of them. The rest of them are all Edmund, Edbeard, Edward. There's an Edward, I think, and then there's like Emund, Ethel. Anyway, so you get as far as Ethelred, right? And then Sweyn Forkbeard, it's like, who's this guy? Forkbeard? It turns out he's Danish, he's a Viking, isn't he? That's why he's got the big beard. And he turned up and he invaded. The reason why he was able to invade was because the guy he took over from was Ethelred the Unready. And we had this funny image of Ethelred standing on the shore going, wait, we're not ready. And the Vikings come on and get him. But the Vikings only lasted a year, and then they buggered off again, and the Wessexes took over again for a bit, and then you had that King Canute. Careful. He turned up, and that was it. The rest is history. Ha! Literally, because it's history. You can find it in a history book. Or you can find it on Wikipedia, that probably tells you enough. There's also a weird thing, Louis VIII. Now, as I understand it, Louis VIII of France at one point decided that he was King of England. He was Louis I of England. But we already had a king, and no one wanted another one, really. But he somehow managed to persuade enough people in England that he was the king and became king. For a year. But then everyone turned around and said, hang on, you're not the king. What are you talking about? You're the king of France. Why are you... You're not king here. You've got no claim to the throne. You just turned up and said you're the king, and a load of people believed it. Maybe it was like some cult of personality kind of thing. I don't know, but apparently tens of thousands of people backed him to be king. Anyway, it turned out that he was so obviously not the king, and admitted so, that he retrospectively withdrew as king, so that officially he was never king. He was like, not only am I not the king, I'm so not the king that I'm gonna go back in time. If I could go back in time and never be king, then I would do that. Unfortunately, I can't do that. But what I can do is just write it down as if I've done that. Write down that I was never the king, and then he buggered off again. And we hardly had any wars with France then, forever, over who was the king. He was the last of the problems. So that was fun. Anyway, my kids enjoyed it. They enjoyed the Viking pictures and the laughing at Ethelred. Poor Ethelred. Never ready for anything. I'm going to quit now. It's 11 o'clock. We're done. It's the end of this stupid nonsense for this week. Well, until Friday. I will do it this Friday. I don't intend to give up completely the Fridays. I just wasn't feeling it last week. I was, I was a bit feeling a bit down in the mouth, down in the dumps. Variously down in things. We're just down. But now I'm much better now. I'm up. My headache's gone. I'm back up I've come out of the dumps where I was down, and now I'm up in the lumps. I'm up in the lumps. You can see all the lumps. Come along on Friday. Check out my lumps. Night.